This meeting is being recorded.
It's a Thursday night in 2023, our first member spotlight, Las Vegas Tri Club member spotlight of 2023. And this is going to be a great one to kick off with someone who has evaded us in 2021 and 2022. So we finally got her on to kick off our 2023. And our guest is Jayme Ray. Hey, Jayme, how's it going?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, yes, this is awesome. And hey, Bob, how's it going?
I'm doing fine, John. Thank you. And just to back up what you said, yes, for a couple of years we tried to get Jayme on, and she evaded us quite well for
Yeah.
over 2 years. But we finally lassoed her in here.
Oh, you're spot right because we did try to get her on earlier. I know you were talking with her at Arizona 70.3, and so this is great to get her on. So Jayme,
Finally tracked her down. Yeah.
and I know I'm going to try not to steal too much of Bob's information here or introduction, but you've been a longtime member. It's been so great to have you part of the club for such a long period of time, and you've had just some tremendous success, and we're going to talk a bit about that tonight through your Ironman 70.3 races, your full, your local races as well. But most importantly, oh, and I even looked up your USAT ranking of being over 90, which is really awesome. So
Okay.
that's great. But most importantly, you're Las Vegas Tri Club point series winner, tied with
Yes.
some other athletes too. So that's awesome
Yes.
that you're were our overall female winner for point series, tied for that. So
Yes.
and third generation Las Vegan. So
Heck yeah.
welcome.
Yes.
This is going to be fun to talk with you tonight, and we're wondering how we're going to fit all this material in tonight. So well, I'm going to turn it over to Bob for the official introduction.
All right. Thank you, John, and welcome again, Jayme. I'm glad that we could finally get you on. And
Thank
there
you.
aren't very many people who deserve to be on, to be spotlighted more than you right now. Um, for those folks listening, Jayme did her first triathlon in 2008. So she's been doing this, quite a while. Joined the club in 2013. Has
Yep.
done everything from multiple sprints through Ironman and 70.3s and everything in between. And a very successful career as well. Been on the podium overall several
Yes.
times, in Kokopelli and in the Las Vegas Tri. And most recent success was at Ironman 70.3 Arizona, where Jayme finished second in her age group, 11th overall, and that was a major race, and that was an incredible accomplishment.
It was
And
incredible.
there's so many things that are so cool about Jayme. And I don't know how, like John said, I don't know how we're going to fit them all in tonight. But I have several questions. Before we got started here, Jayme had mentioned determination versus motivation. And I'm trying to tie that in with some of the other things about Jayme that are very interesting. Jayme has 5 kids at home.
5 kids at home.
Say again?
Yeah, 5 kids at home. The youngest is 15 and the oldest is just over 18 and a half. So
They're dealing with a full house of 5 kids. And then the farm where you have 3 horses and cows and 30 chickens. And
yes.
so, one of the things we were questioning is, where do you find time to train? Because you're fast.
Well, it's a little easier now than it used to be because the kids are older. When I started in 2008, I had my 1993 Specialized Crossroads bicycle from my high school days, and I had a trailer on the back with 2 kids I was towing around.
Oh, no wonder you're so strong on the bike.
Right. And I had a 2-seater stroller when I was running, and my yellow lab at the time. That's where the determination comes in, and that's kind of what I was trying to allude with that.
Determination to train and to fit it all in.
So I was actually talking with Candace the other day about this. What's the difference between determination and motivation? You're on a walk on the beach and the pier is far in the distance. and that's your goal, to get to the pier. That's the determination. You have your goal in mind. So the waves would be the motivation. The motivation comes and goes on a day-to-day. We all know you can't be motivated every day, but you have to have that determination to get up when you're supposed to get up, do the workout you're supposed to do. It might not be the best workout, but maybe it will be. Some of the days I think it's going to be the worst. It ended up being some of my best.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it's that determination that's going to carry you through the day after day, week after week, month after month.
Man, that's a fantastic message too, is a lot of people are struggling. I do. I mean, I struggle with that. It's like
And that's
sometimes
okay.
you don't want to get out of bed. You
Yeah.
don't want to go swimming at 5:30 in the morning. So
Yeah,
the
for sure.
determination kind of backs up the motivation. That's good.
Exactly.
It's good that other people hear that as well,
Yeah,
because they know they're not alone.
for sure.
There's one thing that you just mentioned, and that's the fact that Candace McCutcheon, who we all know and love, is one of your training partners. So
Yes. So
that's important?
we actually met at Ron's office. Kind of a funny story, but we won't go into that one today. But apparently she had been chasing me for some time, like trying to beat me at races. And yeah, so we ended up, meeting each other, and I had put a post on that I was going to run at Bristlecone, and she showed up one day, and we ended up, chatting on the run, and, learned more about each other. We live a mile from each other, and we are almost identically paced with every sport. And so it has just changed both of our training, because her and I, oh my goodness, the banter, and this was something else. Having a training partner is one thing, and we chat and we, share our life stories, but the teasing, and, she wakes up one day and she's not feeling it, and we're out riding the bikes, and I'm like, she's lagging behind, and I'll just tell her, like, pedal that thing, like, let's go. What are you doing? And like, she'll look at me and she'll give me her face, and it makes her a little bit mad, but guess what? Here we go, and so it just, man, it just really helps. Like when I'm having a bad moment, like she's there to say, okay, let's go. And then the opposite way. So it has just changed so much for me, having like just that
Well, it has obviously worked. I mean, because you've
Yes.
gone from very humble beginnings to the actual top of your age group,
Yes.
so.
And her and I are very far from each other on age groups, so it's perfect because we're not in competition.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And this is also something that's really good we have so many new triathletes in the club, and, a ton of them. And this is really, it's wonderful for people to hear that having a training partner like that
Yes.
you get
So
along with.
Can I tell one more real quick story?
Oh, absolutely. For heaven's sake.
So I joined the club, and I was just on Facebook with the club for a while. And Shauna had posted a swim and a ride one day. And I was training for Pumpkin Man Half. And so I'm like, okay, it's time. Like I need a swim buddy. Like I got to get out in the lake, and it would be great to ride with people. So I showed up, and I'm nervous, and I mean, just as nervous as you could be, because I've done all my training by myself to this point. I'm tackling this half. I have no idea what I'm doing. And Dan Ford was also there that day, and I can't remember, there was somebody else. And they were all just super welcoming. We got in the water, we did our swim. I kept up, like it was fine. Like, so I'm starting to like relax a little bit. We get on the bikes, the guys took off, and Shauna like rode with me. And here I'm scared to death, right? Am I
what
gonna be
are
able
these
to,
people like, and what's it going to be like to ride with and swim with them?
and she was just like me. She was a stay-at-home mom. I was a stay-at-home mom. Like we rode, we talked. It was, oh my gosh, it was life-changing. Just because I showed up that day.
Well, and I love that because you're right. I mean, everyone has their own story, and it's neat to be able to share that with someone else, and you find a lot in common, although you still have some unique aspects of your story, and that's great. And yes, you have a really good friendly rivalry, which is a real healthy aspect.
Yes.
Both of you really enjoy that. So I want to back up a little bit though, and I'm curious as to why did you even do a triathlon in the first place?
So I had my first daughter. I gained 80 pounds. I was trying to lose that weight, and I had a friend that ran, and so she got me running. So I was doing that, and then I had my second daughter. Gained another 65 pounds with her. Had her. My same friend was pregnant at the time, and she's like, "There's this thing. I have this friend. She's doing these triathlons." And she tells me the breakdown of the sprint. I'm like, okay, yeah, I could probably do that. It's like a year from now, right? No problem. So I sign up. Well, meanwhile, she has her baby and is in a whole different world. She's not interested in signing up anymore, right? Well, I'm committed. Like, I joined LVAC. I'm taking this triathlon class with Cindy Platko. She's teaching me how to swim. Like, I'm invested now, right? So I have my 1993 bike, a Specialized Crossroads, and I've got my pink Walmart helmet and, my the whole bit. So I ended up doing this triathlon by myself with the little bit I got from Cindy at the gym. Well, I can assure you that the next year I made sure she did one with me and suffered through. But
Like, you got me into this, you're going to do one.
doing it too. And for like 3 or 4 or 5, even 5 years, her and I did one a year. It was always the Las Vegas Triathlon. And we would go stay at the lodge the night before. It was like our mom little getaway away from the kids. We'd do our little triathlon, and yeah, it was great.
I love that. That is so great. And again, it speaks to this idea of having these friendships, and they take you in different directions. So,
Sure.
okay, 2008, doing your first one, to your success that you've had in 2022. I mean, you've gone from that new triathlete to now you're and in essence getting some mentoring from like Shauna and what have you, but now you're on the other end of that spectrum. What's it like being at that end at this point?
It's been a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun. It gave me a lot of confidence, not just in the sport, but in my career, everything. I've done things that not very many people can say that they have accomplished. And it was through that dedication, that hard work, the grind, the everyday grind. I do not believe I was a born athlete. I was not successful in high school sports or anything like that. It's just been the every day working towards that goal, and just over time I have become an athlete.
Well, so many people need to hear that. That is so wonderful to hear you say that. And also it sounds like your competition is with yourself, and your progress is measured against yourself. It's not measured against talk about that.
Yeah. So
motivation.
triathlon, and I wish my kids got into it. My little one tried to do it during COVID and kind of got discouraged. And little one, she's 15, but it's a really neat sport because although it's an individual sport, you have the camaraderie of the tri club, or I was on Team Zoot for a while, or whatever it might be. You have like that group feeling as well. But being able to look back and say, last year I did this for that race, and now I'm doing this, or just your running pace or whatever it is. I mean, the more you do these things, the better you get. Biking, it's time in the saddle. There, that it just you do improve. It just takes time. So it's neat to be able to look back at your previous stats and see that change.
A whole bunch of 1% improvements.
Yes.
Well, I love that because you've seen that even in the longer distance events like the 70.3, and you went from trying to just complete the events to competing in the events in age group. What what got you to even go into your first 70.3 and talk about your progress? And then I want to hear a little bit more about maybe your race like Oregon or Arizona.
Arizona. So starting triathlon, like I said, I had done a few sprints. I did a couple Olympics, but I don't know, there's this mentality that you have to compete in these longer distance or participate in the longer distance to really call yourself like a triathlete. I don't know why that is, but it is. So I felt like I needed to check that box. I needed to do that 70.3. And so, you know, I did Pumpkin Man, which was crazy. I don't even know what I was thinking. But
Which
I never.
Pumpkin Man was it a sprint or the Olympic?
No, the half. It was
Oh,
back
you
when
did
they
a
did
Pumpkin Man half?
yeah, I think it was
Oh,
2013.
the long course, right?
Yeah, like my first one. Like, am I crazy? What is wrong with me?
Wow.
But I did it. And it just being able to say that I did it.
Oh.
And then, but it was still just participating. I was just out there. I was trying, but I wasn't trying necessarily, you know, very hard. I wasn't trying to kill myself out there. I was just, you know, trying to get to that finish line.
Oh.
And so I did Silverman, I did St. George, I did Oceanside, a couple others in there. And then I decided it was time for a full. So I did my full, and with Ron Gallagher's help, I got through that injury free.
Which full was that you did?
Boulder,
Okay.
Colorado. Yeah. Laura did that one too.
Yep.
And then I decided that it was time to step it back down to the sprint and see if I could win one.
Oh.
Over time, I had been inching up, but I just couldn't quite get that overall spot. And I really wanted that. So it took me a couple of years, but I finally got it.
And that's quite an accomplishment, because you went from I want to complete a race to competing in them. And I mean, overall, I mean that you won overall Kokopelli and Las Vegas.
And I'm
Trial.
not young, like it's crazy.
Oh, cry me a river. Come on.
Sorry, Bob.
No, I know it. Yeah, but you're a youngin' compared to many of us.
Yeah.
Well, and this is what's amazing is you've had success at all distances, and that I really commend you for. I think that is that's not easy to do, but from sprint to 70.3, that you've really have had some great races.
Thank you. Yeah.
So let's talk about your 70.3 one, because once you get on a podium at a national race or like an Ironman event, that's impressive. And talk about let's go with Oregon. Oregon, you want to do that one?
Okay, sure.
So talk about Oregon.
Oregon was an interesting one because, like I said, I had never tried to compete. And now I've got my training partner there competing with me. And of course, we got to the start line together. You know, we took off at the swim, you know, side by side. And I will tell you, I let my mental strength kind of go on this one. I knew she was ahead of me, and I was upset with myself for that. I stopped in the swim and looked around, and there was a floating thing in the water that I stared at for forever. And I get to the bikes and her bike is gone. And I was so upset with myself. And I went and got my bike, and I walked to the start line, and I took off, and, you know, I biked hard. I came back, I walked, you know, to drop my bike off. I went and used the bathroom. I walked there, I set my things down, I picked them up, and I took off on the run, and I felt great. Like the run felt phenomenal. I was like, let's do this. So I did the whole run. Like I stopped and used the bathroom again. Like my race was over. I was really truly enjoying it at this point. But the competitive part of me was mad at myself. And I'm telling you this because at the end of the day, I came in 7th.
Yeah.
Wow.
What if I wouldn't have lollygagged for, it was like, I would say I was 5 to 7 minutes of just being mad at myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got done with a race and I hear how well I did. And I was just like, what did I just do? What did I just do here? So I took all that. And when I arrived at Arizona, I already knew what I was not going to do. I didn't
It's
care
go
how
time.
bad my swim was. I didn't care how bad my bike was. I was going to make sure every minute counted. Because I remembered how good I felt on that run at Oregon. If I can feel that good at Oregon, I can go out there and I can race this thing.
Yeah.
And I can try hard. And I did. They did cancel the swim, which was very helpful for me. But
And nobody
I-
complained about that. Not many anyway.
No. So my point is, like, I'm beating myself up for absolutely nothing because I was doing so well the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why you were beating yourself up on that. It's like, you know, because you had a good swim.
Well, yeah, because it was the river and it just took
Well,
you.
yeah. but I mean, but still.
I didn't want to poke my head up and like look around. I kept doing it. Like I just wasn't, I needed to be swimming during that time.
What I love hearing about that, and I appreciate you bringing that up because we always have something to learn and we're always trying to become better in triathlon. And it's not always just the swim, bike, and run. It's the other things. It's what we're thinking about. So, I mean, that's really great to share and for people to hear that. And, you know, it's a matter of learning to, you know, race your race and what have you. But what lessons have you learned over this career of your triathlon going back to, you know, the 2000s? What are some important ones?
You know, we've actually hit on quite a few of them. Friends are big. You know, if Cindy wouldn't have helped me out like in those classes at LVAC, she was my coach for a while. You know, she really helped me understand time in the saddle is what was going to make me faster. You know, I've worked with Ron, oh my gosh, so much. And he has helped with every twinge that happens or me crying in his office when I'm actually injured, you know, to getting out of that. But just those friendships. I mean, there's so many people that have just given me little tidbits over time and just helped me keep mentally healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, life is so hard, right? And having the time to have with your thoughts when you're biking or running or swimming, especially swimming, we have nothing else to do. You know, it really helps keep that good mental outlook in all parts of life. So triathlon has been amazing for me, like specifically in that department. It keeps me sane. You can ask my husband if I'm hurt and I'm not doing triathlon, he'll tell you all about it.
They go for a bike ride, go for a swim.
Yeah, go do something. Exactly. You need some endorphins going, but.
Well,
you know what I love more than anything about what you said is the fact that you didn't think you were an athlete at first, you know, and a lot of people I think have a lot of self-doubts and you've conquered those. And that's impressive to be able to, because that you see these people who are losing, you know, 150 pounds and that's their battle, you know, but there's a lot of battles inside of people and you crushed yours. I mean, you did that really well. Because you're an elite now. You know, you probably don't even realize.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. And you know, that going back to the friends thing, you know, when I have my doubts about what I can or can't do, you know, somebody like Candace will come in and say, okay, but you can do this because you just did it.
Mhm.
And, you know,
Right.
she sees it in me when I can't see it in me.
Yeah.
And the same goes, you know, the other way.
Yeah,
So that's-
and all of triathlon seems to be like that. Or, you know, the vast majority, people just revel in your victories as well as their own. So, and that's really
Yeah.
great that you pointed that out.
Yes, for sure.
Yep,
For sure.
I love it.
Yeah, I love this. I love this conversation too, because, you know, triathlon, again, it's the swim, bike, and run, but it's not just that. There's more of the mental aspect of it. And it's so easy to say certain things. Like I said, you know, race your own race. That's easy to say, but until you live it, then it that's where you really absorb it and change or you know move your triathlon career forward. So what are you looking at for 2023?
Well, I have Oceanside coming up here in April, and then Chattanooga. So after Oregon, after I realized how close I was to that podium, my
Mhm.
goals completely changed because now I want to be on the podium. I never thought I would be there. I really didn't. So I went into Arizona trying to get on that podium, which obviously I did. They took one spot to Finland, and the lady that took first took my spot.
Oh,
So meanwhile, I had told Candace I wanted to go to Finland, and you probably figured this out, but we have a little bit of the FOMO, fear of missing out with each other. So if I was going to go to Finland, she had to go to Finland. So she had already got her spot.
okay.
I didn't get my spot, so now I'm behind. So I've got two chances. I've got Oceanside and Chattanooga to get my Finland spot. So we can go do that together in August. So
I love
that's
that. That's such a great goal, and yeah, and I think that's certainly within your reach. But it is super competitive. You wouldn't think that would be competitive to get to Finland, but it is competitive. It's not easy to do that.
Yeah, a lot of people are taking those slots.
Yeah, I was really mad at the first place lady. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I can tell.
So again, I want to contrast getting into the sport in 2008, because I think people see you now and they see you as a regular on the podium, either overall or age group, and it's often easy to overlook the work that goes in to being successful in events. So I mean, take yourself back to 2008 and compare
So
yourself to today.
yeah, I had two little kids. So my oldest daughter would have been 2, and my youngest would have been 1,
Mhm.
06 and 07. I had a 2-person jogger stroller and my dog, and we would run up and down the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And you know, I had my high school bike with a trailer on the back, and I wasn't fast. I was probably one of the last people to finish that first race in 2008. I'd have to go back and look at how bad it really was, but I did it. You know, I had probably been in the lake one time before the race, but you know, I did it. I accomplished it, and I wasn't looking to do it all year round, but I wanted to do another one for sure.
Mhm.
Like I did that.
Yeah. And here you are now talking about working towards getting a slot to a world
World
championship
championship.
race.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. The other thing I did that we didn't touch on was I ran Boston. Like
Oh,
who does that? Like it's just wild.
We forgot about that.
It's absolutely wild. Like I'm not a runner. I didn't show up to this as a runner.
Yeah, but and for those who don't know, you have to qualify to even get on the starting line at Boston.
So 2 things. Yeah, the day-to-day grind, you know, keeping at it, and strength.
wow.
I can't say enough about the strength part of it all.
Hmm.
Good to hear. I mean, good for everyone to hear.
Yeah.
Jayme, this has been great.
Yeah, it has.
I don't think people know the story, your story of starting out in that humble, you know, spot to where you are now, because again, people just see you on the podium and you know, expect to see you there, and it's taken a lot of work. So thank you for coming on and sharing your story and how to go. I think we got one more shout out for your Sherpa, right?
My husband.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got a good Sherpa, right?
I do. He's sitting in front of me eating a big bowl of ice cream at the moment.
Teasing you with the ice cream, right?
He is.
Well, and what's important, you've been able to balance, family life and racing, and so that's a real healthy contribution to where you are. And so it is so much fun to see the success. So thank you for coming on and sharing that with us.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
absolutely.
And it wasn't so bad, was it?
It wasn't so bad.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jayme, and thanks everyone for tuning in on this one.
All right. Good night, everybody. Good night, Jayme. Good night, Troy. All right. We'll talk to you later.